as much as I think he loves racing Formula One cars and he loves racing the fastest cars on the planet, he kind of likes racing no matter what. And he definitely has aims to race at Le Mans. I mean, I think he talked about that quite recently, that by the time his contract runs out, I think he'll be 31. His contract currently runs through to 2028, by the way, so he would be cutting that short if he retired at the end of this year. But, by then he'll be 31, and that's...
A shockwave is brewing in Formula One. A key Red Bull figure suggests Max Verstappen could walk away from racing after 2025. The dominant champion, at the peak of his powers, might just slam the brakes on his career. Is the sport's unstoppable force ready to make an unexpected exit?
Max Verstappen just opened up about his possible early retirement and frustrations with Formula One. Max revealed that he may retire from the sport prior to the end of his 2028 contract if Red Bull does not perform well after the 2026 regulations change. Verstappen said for him it's about well-being and not money, as F1 is becoming increasingly demanding with the new 24-race calendar and more media and marketing obligations than ever. Max is still just 25 years old and is on a reported 5-year, $275 million contract. But do you guys actually think that we can see him off?
Max Verstappen, the storm in Red Bull's engine, the man who turned the Formula One grid into a personal highlight reel. For years, he's dominated the sport like it was coded in his DNA. But now, something unexpected is circling the paddock, a quiet, rumbling shockwave. Rumors from inside the Red Bull camp suggest Verstappen might retire after 2025. Yes, you heard that right. Not move teams, not taking a break. Full stop, helmet down.
4 World Drivers' Championships. And we see Max from time to time get angry in press conferences and be very short with his answers. He failed to go into too much detail, stating that he didn't want to cop another penalty. You'll have your own opinions on that, but I think now Max realises he's not going to win that championship, and perhaps he's much more open to a move to another team. And the most likely team? Probably Mercedes. And still on the subject of Red Bull, I think there's a very real chance that shortly, and I'm talking a few races, we will see Isaac Hadjar replace Yuki Tsunoda. Of course, Yuki's struggling at the moment, and it struck me at the end of today when I saw him in the media pen walking out, and I thought, he's not looking confident. Isaac, on the other hand, has proved to be pretty much the rookie of the year. Briefly, have a look at this. This is a panorama shot. 4 high-resolution files stitched together to produce a super high-res panorama shot of one of the greatest moments in sport history, and that is the start of the F1 race.
Gloves off, exit stage left. It sounds absurd. He's at the peak of his powers, smashing records, crushing rivals, making victory look like muscle memory. And yet, the whispers won't stop, because this isn't just media gossip. It's coming from the core of Red Bull's inner circle. Now pause and let that sink in. Verstappen isn't like other drivers. The rules never play him. He entered F1 as a teenager, tore through the hierarchy, and hasn't looked back since. He's fast, ruthless, efficient, and uninterested in the fame circus that surrounds him.
I think people need to take Max Verstappen seriously when he threatens to quit, because he doesn't need to race anymore. He's achieved more than he ever thought that he would. He just wanted to come to Formula One, win the World Championship, and he races for fun. He loves racing. So if you take that joy away, then he has no reason to stay. And for Max, I think it's all about the enjoyment and it's all about the joy. So yeah, I think people need to take him seriously when he makes his threats, because he doesn't do it lightly.
He's not in this for the spotlight. He's in it to win, and maybe to walk away when the winning stops being fun. And right now, he's won just about everything. He's got the titles, the trophies, the admiration. He's even got that cool, unbothered aura that turns every press conference into a masterclass in chill. What more is there to chase? Another record? Another season of going wheel to wheel with drivers who can barely keep up? At some point, the thrill fades.
So he's quoted saying, and this is regarding Verstappen potentially retiring early, where he said, "I won't go on for very long if every year is like that. Those battles are so fierce and intense. It takes a lot of the fun away as well." Yeah, Rosberg chose to leave the sport at the same age Verstappen will be at the end of 28. So yeah, they would both be the same age if Max does leave. But then Max started when he was 17.
This is the thing, yeah. You know.
So like, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see why he wouldn't leave.
I mean, his career would have been Maths. 13 years long?
Maths. Sign him up.
Probably still wrong. I mean, that's like probably double the average of a.
The fire burns out, and Max Verstappen, of all people, might just be the guy bold enough to step away before that happens. There's also the bigger picture. Formula One is heading into a reset. The 2026 regulations are approaching, and they could significantly impact the grid. New cars, new engines, new dynamics. Red Bull's dominance, not guaranteed. Verstappen's comfort zone, gone. And for a driver so finely tuned to precision, the uncertainty of post-2025 F1 might feel more like a risk than a thrill. Add to that the non-stop grind, year after year of jet lag, cameras, politics, and pressure.
I think he might retire at the top of his game. He
You
might.
reckon?
Yep, I reckon he might. He might go out on top and say, "Yep, I've accomplished everything. I'm good."
Yep.
Max is
Retire.
He has mentioned about it before.
He has, but he lives and breathes cars and racing.
Yeah, but he also loves the F1, like the sport, the gaming Formula One too.
He does.
Like
He might need a new challenge.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe
he's conquered it.
Yeah.
He's done it. He knows how to win.
And I think that could very well be the case where it's tough to know right now. I think if everything, like if the dust settles and helmet stays, honestly, Red Bull could be so formidable.
Verstappen made it pretty clear. He loves racing, not everything else that comes with it. And maybe he's looking ahead, dreaming of a quieter life with just the pure adrenaline of competition, without the baggage. A life with more sim racing, less scrutiny, more freedom, fewer flashbulbs. And who could blame him? But here's where it gets wild. If Verstappen walks, it won't just shake Red Bull, it'll rip a hole in the entire F1 ecosystem. Who replaces him? Who even can? There's no Verstappen clone waiting in the wings, no easy fix.
How important do you think this record is going to be? Because that Vettel 9 in a row was always felt like Vettel's 4 championships back to back to back is big, but that 9 in a row, like
calling
legacy
card
of that.
Yeah. He's the only one, right? Nobody can take that away from him until somebody beats the record. And records are there to be broken. But listen, I feel like Max will play it down and pretend as if he doesn't care. Ultimately, he cares.
Yeah.
He cares. You heard
Do you
him.
think he'll play it down now that he's got it though? Because I can get playing it down beforehand because you don't want to leave yourself vulnerable almost to people exploiting that. But like now that he's got it, it's like before you've won a championship, you're like, we're just going to take it race by race. And then when you've won it, you're like, yes.
Records don't mean anything until you've actually got them, right?
Red Bull without Max is like a rocket without fuel, dangerous, unpredictable, and potentially explosive. And let's not forget the domino effect, the power vacuum, the rivals who suddenly believe they have a shot. Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, they'd be circling like sharks. The Verstappen era ending, that's an invitation to chaos, to new heroes, to unexpected storylines. And what about the fans? The Verstappen nation would be left stunned, shocked, searching for meaning in a world where their champion chose peace over podiums.
Breaking news from the world of Formula One, and it looks like Max Verstappen is going to be leaving Red Bull and joining McLaren at the end of the 2025 season.
Poetic. The idea of a legend stepping away not because he has to, but because he can. No crash, no decline, no fade into the background. Just one final season of dominance, and then silence. And maybe that's the most Verstappen thing of all, ending the story on his terms. While he's still the storm, while he's still untouchable, before the sport can dull his edge. Will it happen? Maybe not. Max could easily race into the next decade and crush every stat in sight. But the fact that this conversation is bubbling up inside Red Bull, that's no accident. Something is shifting. And once the seed is planted, it's hard to ignore. So here's the reality. F1 better prepare for the unthinkable. Because if Verstappen decides to walk away after 2025, he won't just leave a gap. He'll leave a void. And nothing stirs drama like a legend disappearing at the peak of their powers. Stay tuned, because the next chapter in Formula One's wild ride might just be its most shocking yet.